What's up, guys? Bringing you a different video today. I thought it'd be interesting to check out history in the LCS. I'm a big League player. I'm also a huge 100 Thieves fan ever since they first got started. Quick history lesson on why I'm a 100 Thieves fan is I was originally a CLG fan. I still kind of am, but I put that under the bed so no one knows. And the reason why I became a 100 Thieves fan is because they picked up Afro. So I've always followed the team, and they finally won the LCS championship. And so this is pretty cool. So I thought I would walk through the games because they beat TL, who went on a 4-split winning streak, and they were by all means not an easy team to beat, even though this series might have you think otherwise. And so I'm going to break down kind of the champ select and then the end of the game. If you want me to kind of break down certain moments in the game that determine the outcome, let me know, and I'll do that. But for now, I'm going to pretty much explain to you what happened in 3 to 4 hours in a couple of minutes. And I use couple very loosely because it's probably going to be like 10. But we're going to start out the draft. You have a support ban, 2 jungle bans from 100 Thieves, and then you have jungle bot top bans from TL. I think right away, TL clearly doesn't know what they want to do. Instead, they're just trying to just ban certain things away and just see what 100 Thieves do. So they power pick Viego because they left it up. So now, TL was prepared for this, and they opted in to go Syndra Lee Sin. And I can only imagine what TL was thinking here was, hey, let's beat their Viego, and then basically 100 Thieves got nothing on us. We don't have to ban it anymore, and we get some free games. And 100 Thieves is like, no, we've prepared for this, Varus LeBlanc. And I'm sure TL was like, oh, shoot. They seemed a little too prepared for this. And so they picked Camille, prepped and ready to go, because TL's draft already feels like we are reacting to you and we kind of have a plan. And 100 Thieves is, we have a plan. And so I can tell that 100 Thieves is trying to execute something and TL is trying to counter whatever 100 Thieves is going to execute, which is normally not the best thing to do. You go into bans, you have 100 Thieves banning 2 bot laners just to protect the Varus from getting like screwed over too bad. And then you come over to TL side, which once again is very weird. They do a support ban, very good support ban, and then they do a Gangplank. And I felt like this was an interesting ban because I feel like they're all over the place and they're not sure what they want to do. And they pick Leona. And so they're leaving their last pick for AD Carry, Shen Alistar for 100 Thieves. And this comp looks really complete. 2 good strong tanks, good assassin, back row, damage with Varus, auto attack, Poe, he can do it all. And then you have Viego as this big wild card that I'm sure TL is trying to shut down right away. Shoot over to TL, they pick Ezreal as their last pick, and you can tell by the fans they definitely lost this draft because 100 Thieves has this complete unit structure, right? You have a strong front line, Initiator with Alistar, front line's Shen, obviously. You have Varus standing behind him, and then you can have LeBlanc sit behind the front line or engage, and you have Viego diving in the back line. So this is pretty good. But for TL, this seems really lackluster, to say the least. Because you have Camille who wants to split push, and then you have basically Leona as your front line, and you're trying to just kind of do more poking than actual damage. So it's clear that you want to bring the aggression this game, but you don't want a team fight. And if you don't know, they lost this game, and it was pretty bad. 0-4, 0-3, 0-4 for the bottom side of the map. And then the top side is 1-3, and then 1-1. But yet, Hunter Thieves very much ran away with this game. And this was a very interesting start because it destroyed TL's mentality right away. Right? TL was thinking, hey, let's shut down this Viego pick and move on. Didn't work, so now they're backed in a corner. Like, Sunday knows this is just easy. Alfari is already like tilted because he's like, I literally tried my best this game. Clearly, I have 100% kill participation out of our 2 kills. Gosh. But that will not do them any good as we move to game 2, and you can already see where this is headed, right? Guess what? Same bans on 100 Thieves, almost the same bans, but they're now noticing, hey, their bot lanes is going to be their focus. Let's stop it. So, what's first pick, right? Because I think TL picked what side they wanted. They want to go red side again so they can get all the counter picks, which I think is pretty bad considering you just lost trying to do that same strategy. But you know what? I'm not a coach. Viego, top of the line for 100 Thieves. Then you go Callista Lee Sin. And I think I was baffled that they went with the same Lee Sin pick. It didn't do bad, but I can see that they're like, hey, let's get a reliable carry, and then our jungle to be up their jungle. And I'm like, okay, that didn't work, but you know what? We're picking a bot laner instead of a mid laner, so we're going to do something better this time. What does 100 Thieves do? Pick their AD carry and then pick their top laner. Now, this is where it gets interesting, where you get the Renekton, where it's the aggressive top laner instead of Shen. And I'm kind of shocked by this because I'm like, ooh. Alfari answers back with a Jace pick to counter the Renekton. And now we kind of have the 3-3, where basically in the second round, they have to both pick the same lanes. And this leads to some interesting bans because there were 3 mid lane bans and 1 support ban. And TL, guess what, is not consistent and bans the support. And they did not want to see Leona, and then they picked the Braum. And so they just switched what they did last game. And Hui just picked the Alistar again, which I thought was hilarious because honestly, you could have probably banned the Alistar and just got him onto a different champ this game, and that would have been a little bit more impactful. And then they got the Orianna. And this was like, oh. And 100 Thieves has a really good structure here. Because if you haven't noticed, 2 games, now this is the second game, they have an aggressive solo lane, not a very more supportive solo lane. You have a traditional bot lane, and then you have Viego jungle, who's going to be doing a lot of the late game aggression, mid game aggression, however you want to describe it, where TL is literally just trying to counter them, but with their last pick being Twisted Fate, it kind of felt like they're trying to bring out random global pressure from Twisted Fate, where they're saying, we're going to play a more standard game like you want, but instead of you having Shen, we're going to have Twisted Fate. And this just generally worked a little bit. It really did. It really helped TL out a little bit. But guess what? It didn't matter. They still lost. Game was 16-6. And guess what? 0-4, 0-2, 0-2 for the bot lane. This time, though, there were some deaths on 100 Thieves' side, so there was improvement in their strategy, except for their strategy for TL is flawed. They're trying to counter 100 Thieves instead of just playing their game, and it completely shows that's why they're losing. Because literally all 100 Thieves is doing is playing their game and laughing at TL because they're like trying to counter them. And this is just solo queue stuff, right? Like literally every lane is just like, haha, I'm going to try to counter you. And literally that's what everyone has to deal with in solo queue. And so pro players have to do it the most. And they're just like, whatever, we have the better comp. We're going to win at the end of the day. And literally what they do. Jace was 5-4. Trying to carry this game, but his laner was 305. Like, not even crushing the game, but Vigo's 8-2. This game was a lot closer. I think this game was a little bit more back and forth. But this is pretty bad on TL's side. So now I was curious. I was like, what will TL do? How will TL do it? You know, you're going to the third game. What's your strategy? Right? Huh? Well, let's not think about it too much. Let's just see what their strategy was, okay? Now, TL takes blue side. Good change, right? You know, you gave... Oh, no. Why didn't they win Champs League? What? They banned Viego? 3 jungle bans. Okay. So they have acknowledged that closer is the problem. Okay? This is a good acknowledgement. 100 Thieves. Okay, they got a little mix-up bans, right? You got Thresh, Jace, Syndra, right? Very scattered bans, not as focused. So they're cruising. Trundle. First pick. I thought this is a very interesting first pick. I was like, okay, Trundle's your power pick, okay? Clearly they can't play Viego, so they went with Trundle. Then they went Aphelios, Lee Sin. And I thought this was so funny because they basically did exactly what TL did the last game. 80 carry jungle's Lee Sin. The 80 carry that you didn't ban, we're going to beat the crap out of you with a very similar strategy. Varus, LeBlanc. Okay, now this is looking a lot like the first game on blue side. Very scary. They pick up Ryze as their last pick. Ban Camille. Ban Renekton. Ban Bard. Ban Braum. Okay, once again, they have to pick top support. It's pretty equal. What do they choose? They choose Gangplank, a very late game centric champion. And then they have Gnar Leona, picks Alistar for last. And this is where I'm like, 100 Thieves loses this game 100%. Because how the hell can you pick 3 scaling lanes and then an aggressive jungler? And then hope to win, right? Because then you come over to TL and it's like, okay, good, you know, early to mid game, 80 carry. Okay, pretty aggressive mid, aggressive top, aggressive support, and a very wanting to gank jungle. Okay, you know, TL has the right idea. They're like, okay, we're going to win right away, and you're just going to watch us run away with it. And 100 Thieves is like, haha, joke's on you. We're just going to mess around this game to see how much we can get away with. And what happens? But 2-16. How do you lose 26 minutes into the game to an all-scaling team besides Lee Sin and, oh, you fed the Lee Sin? The one thing you were not supposed to do. The one way you don't... let me get Gnar's score, okay? The one way you don't lose the game, if you will win the game almost assured if you don't feed Lee Sin kills and you just, you know, keep the aggression up and instead you feed Lee Sin. Because, like, literally, like, all their late games killing champions aren't really not that high. Like, they don't have that many kills. They have all these assists just helping out Lee Sin. TL kind of just handed this game over to 100 Thieves the third game. Not to say they didn't do it on the second game, because I felt like it was the dumbest thing ever to literally run back game 1 on game 2, try to do the same strategy, lose, go to game 3, do the complete opposite thing, and just say, we're going to go full aggression to counter them and try to win. It's like, no wonder 100 Thieves won. 100 Thieves is just running their comp. TL is trying to meta beat 100 Thieves 500 different ways. And I just want to remind people who might have not been following the road here. But TL beat 100 Thieves 3-2. Everyone was thinking this was going to be a close game. Shoot. Everyone thought, besides 2 people out of 12 analysts, that 100 Thieves was going to lose. And clearly, this was a stomp. This was a 3-0 sweep. All the fans knew that they won Champ Select. And it was the cleanest 3-0 I probably have seen in a finals in a very long time, where TL just seemed weak in all sense of the word. And I'm kind of concerned because you have 100 Thieves that just had this great win. Seems like they're going to have a strong start at Worlds. And then you have TL, who kind of fell apart, tried to play too much to their opponent instead of focusing on themselves. I feel like the only person who played their game was Alfari. Clearly, by every single score line he has, he always has a kill. And it's normally self-earned. So, I shouldn't say self-earned, but like he earned that kill. It wasn't like a pick. So this is a pretty cool series. If you watch it, I think 100 Thieves just threw the textbook at him and be like, "You're not ready for the final exam," and clearly TL was not. So I would say this is a great series, and 100 Thieves, well-deserved championship. I am more surprised than ever that they actually won. I think Someday is probably the biggest person I'm happy about, because he was on this team the longest. He worked really hard. Closer was named MVP, if you haven't noticed, because clearly he deserved it after pretty much being the focal point of all 3 games. If you disagree with that, comment below, because I definitely disagree. It was all based around Closer. And everyone else kind of did their roles. And so, excited for Worlds.